going on, everyone? Jack here from Half Chrome, and yeah, I've got a helicopter today. This is the RC Era C187 helicopter, and this is supposed to be one of the easiest helicopters you can fly. So it's geared toward beginners. I'm going to tell you about this thing. It's less than $100, and if you're looking for an entry-level helicopter, this may be the one for you. Okay, so yeah, we don't have a whole lot of helicopters on the channel. In fact, it's been years since I've flown one myself, so I thought it'd be a great opportunity to get my hands on this C187 and see if it's easy for basically a beginner to fly. Now, granted, I fly drones, so I also grabbed my son and had him fly this. Yeah, he's also flown drones, but he hasn't flown a helicopter before, and I wanted to see what he thought about it. Turns out it was pretty easy for both of us to fly, and there's a secret, and it's right here underneath. You can see we've got a camera. This guy has altitude hold, so it's using this camera to kind of sense where it is, plus a barometer, I believe, to kind of keep that throttle managed. So that's going to make it a lot easier. But I'm not going to say this is straight up easy to fly, but it kind of is if you've ever flown anything, or you've driven RC cars, or you kind of have that knack to do it a little bit. If you've flown anything before, you can pretty much fly one of these. Now, if you haven't flown before, I'd probably take it nice and slow, find a giant open field. You're gonna be able to take this thing off and land it and fly it around a little bit. Just don't fly it around obstacles until you know what you're doing. Now, the battery is right up front underneath the nose cone here. It is a proprietary battery. It's a 2S battery you can just charge right here with a micro USB. You can buy it either as a 1 or 2 battery package. They actually come with 2 different remote controllers that you can buy as well. Now, the batteries are going to take you about an hour to charge. You're going to get up to 15 minutes of flight time. Somewhere between 10 and 12 is probably a little bit more realistic, but that definitely varies depending on where and how you fly. You definitely want to keep this in your line of sight. You got a range of up to 100 meters, basically a football field or so, before you're going to lose signal. But just a really nice looking chopper here. The detail is pretty solid. We got a light up front. We got a light in the back. I've got this little stabilizer wing as well. Like it, lots of fun to fly. But it's pretty basic, right? And that's probably what you're looking for if you want an entry-level chopper. So let's take a look at what you would have inside the box. I did, of course, already unbox it, and I'm just kind of putting it back in here. We do, of course, have the chopper. You have a charging cable. You have a screwdriver and a little Allen wrench, plus a little tiny rear prop, and then a couple of spare blades here as well. So you got all those things. Let's take a look at the remote here. Remote here is pretty basic. You've got your throttle over here, and you can see that the throttle is centered, right? That's because you have altitude control. So it just kind of gets stuck here in the center, and that's what you want. This is your speed switch. I actually recommend, even for beginners, you put it on the high speed. It's just going to give you a little bit more power if you need to fight the wind. And over here is your takeoff and your landing. Now, make sure that when you're landing, you use this button as well, because you don't want to burn out the motors, right? So if it gets stuck on something, I wasn't getting that it was sensing obstacles when I did crash. So you make sure you're going to cut the power manually. Overall, a decent little helicopter for a beginner for less than $100, right? I definitely would suggest you opt for a 2 battery package, and the upgraded remote, while it's not super premium, you do have better gimbals or sticks that you're going to control it with. These little metal ends and better gimbals. Another upgrade I would recommend, just a couple extra bucks. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Would you like to see more choppers on the channel? Maybe more RC cars, some RC boats, more RC things in general outside of drones? If so, let me know. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of this little chopper? Do you agree that it's a pretty solid option for less than $100? Anyway, good luck everyone, and happy flying.